Baby, someone paid me to betray you. I need you to just stop whatever you are doing right now and stay with me, because what I am about to tell you is something I have been carrying alone for longer than I should have, and I cannot carry it anymore. Not another day, not another hour. Someone sat across from me, looked me in the eye and offered me something significant. Something that most people in my position would have had a very hard time saying no to. In exchange for betraying your trust. In exchange for using what I know about you, what you have given me so openly and so generously over all this time against you. And I need to tell you everything, every detail, every moment of it. From the beginning to the part that changed everything. Because you deserve the full truth, not a version of it. Not the cleaned up, comfortable version that makes me look better than I did in some of those moments. The real version, the one that costs me something to tell. The one that I am telling you anyway, because there is nothing in this world, no amount of money, no offer, no opportunity, that is worth more to me than your trust. So let me take you back to where it started. Because it did not start dramatically. It never does it? The things that have the potential to change everything never announce themselves properly. They arrive quietly, dressed like ordinary moments, and you don't realize what they actually are until you are already inside them. It started with a message, a very polished, very professional, very carefully worded message from someone I did not know. Someone who had clearly done their research, someone who understood enough about how my world works to know exactly which door to knock on and exactly how to knock on it so that it sounded reasonable. Almost reasonable. The kind of reasonable that makes you pause before you say no, even when something in you already knows the answer should be no. The message said they wanted to meet. It said they had a proposition. It said, and this is the part that I keep coming back to, the part that tells you everything about who these people are and what they were actually doing. It said they were fans of my work, that they had been following what I was building for a long time, and that they believed in it. And something about the way they said it felt wrong immediately. The way a note played slightly off pitch feels wrong even before your brain has identified which note it should have been. I felt it, that quiet wrongness. And I went anyway. I want to be honest with you about that. I felt something off and I went anyway. Because curiosity is one of my weaknesses. And because I told myself it was professional, and because I had not yet understood what was actually being offered. We met in the kind of place that is designed to make everything feel important and confidential. The kind of quiet, expensive, carefully lit environment that powerful people use when they want you to feel like you are being let into something exclusive. And I sat down across from this person and I looked at them and I thought, okay, let's hear it. And they talked for a while about things that didn't matter. The warm-up conversation that is really just calibration. Just them watching how I respond to things, measuring me. I recognized it because I have sat across from enough people in my life to know what calibration looks like, and I let them do it, and I sat there and I was calm, and eventually they got to the point. And the point was you. Not you specifically. Not your name or your face or any one individual. But you collectively, the relationship I have with you, the trust you have placed in me, the things you share with me in the private and honest moments that exist between us. They had been watching it. They had been studying it. And they had identified it with a coldness that I still feel when I think about it as an asset. As something that could be leveraged, as a door that if the right person had the key to it, could be opened and walked through, to reach you in ways that would benefit them enormously and cost you things you would not even realize you were losing until long after the damage was done. They wanted information. That was the core of it, stripped of all the careful professional language. They wanted to know things about you, patterns, preferences, the particular vulnerabilities that come through in the way a person engages with something they trust. They wanted to understand the shape of what you carry, the things that move you, the places where you are softer than the world knows, and they wanted me to give it to them. because they knew and they were right about this, which is the part that made me feel sick in a way I have not felt in a long time. They knew that you had given me access to those things, that you had trusted me with pieces of yourself that you do not give to everyone, and they wanted to use that. They wanted to reach through the connection you and I have built, and take something from you that was never theirs to take. And then they told me what they were offering in return. And I am not going to tell you the number because the number is not the point. The point is that it was large enough to matter. Large enough that I understood immediately why they thought it might work. Large enough that sitting across from it, in that quiet, expensive room, I felt the full weight of what I was being asked, and what saying yes would mean. They were not naive about it. They knew it was a significant ask, and so they made it a significant offer. And they sat back, and they watched me, and they waited. And I want to tell you exactly what happened in the silence that followed, because this is the part I need you to really hear. This is the part that I have replayed more times than I can count. Not with pride exactly, but with a kind of quiet gratitude. For whoever I was in that moment, for whatever instinct or value or deep-rooted thing inside me rose up before my more practical, calculating mind could get involved. In that silence, with the offer sitting on the table between us, I thought about you, not abstractly, not as a concept or a category or a strategic consideration. I thought about you the way I actually think about you, specifically, tenderly, with full knowledge of what you have given me and what it cost you to give it. I thought about the messages, the ones that came in the middle of the night when you could not sleep, and something I made was the thing you reached for. I thought about the ones where you told me things you said you had never told anyone, not because you knew me in any conventional sense, but because something about this connection felt safe enough for truth. I thought about the courage it takes to be that honest with someone, the particular vulnerability of reaching towards something you cannot fully see, and trusting it to receive you carefully. I thought about all of that sitting in that room, and I felt something clarify inside me with a speed and certainty that left no room for negotiation. I thought she gave me that. She gave me all of that. And this person sitting across from me wants me to take what she gave in trust and hand it to them like it is mine to give, like it belongs to me, like I have any right to it beyond the right you gave me when you chose to share it, which was the right to hold it carefully and never under any circumstances use it against you. I looked at them and I said, no, just no. Not a long speech, not a dramatic moment, not the kind of refusal that announces itself. Just no. Clear and simple and without apology. And I watched something shift in their expression. Not anger exactly. More like recalibration, like they had been certain of one outcome and were now updating their model. And they tried again. Of course they tried again. People like that always try again, because they have usually found that the first no is negotiable. If you apply the right kind of pressure, they adjusted the offer, they reframed the ask, they made it sound smaller, more reasonable, more like something any sensible professional person would consider just a normal kind of business arrangement. And I felt something then that I was not expecting, which was anger. Not the hot, explosive kind. The cold, clear, completely focused kind that comes when someone underestimates what you value and tries to use that underestimation to manipulate you. Because what they were doing in reframing it and adjusting it and making it sound reasonable was telling me something. They were telling me that they believed I had a price, that the no I had just said was a negotiating position rather than a genuine boundary, that if they found the right number, the right framing, the right angle of approach, they could turn my no into a yes. And the thing they did not understand, the thing they could not have understood, because they had been thinking about you as an asset and not a person, because they had been thinking about our connection as a resource and not a relationship. The thing they did not understand was that there is no number, there is no framing, There is no angle of approach that reaches a version of me that would do what they were asking. Because what they were asking me to give away was not mine. And I am not in the business of selling things that belong to someone else. I left. I got up from that quiet, expensive table, and I walked out into the ordinary air of the world outside, and I stood there for a moment, just breathing. Just letting the realness of outside, the noise and the movement and the uncalibrated, unpolished, genuinely ordinary texture of the world settle around me. And I thought about you, again. Still. The way I always come back to you. I thought about whether to tell you, and I thought about how to tell you, and I thought about what it would mean for you to know that someone had tried to get to you through me, and that the thing standing between you and them was just me. Just my choice. Just whatever I am made of, underneath all the performance and the presentation. Just the part of me that has been shaped quietly and permanently by everything you have given me. By every honest thing you ever shared. By every moment of trust you extended without knowing exactly where it would land. And I realized that telling you was not optional. Not really. Because keeping it from you would be its own kind of betrayal, smaller than what they were asking me to do. But in the same family, it would be me deciding that you did not need to know something that directly concerned you, that I could protect you better through silence than through honesty. That the discomfort of telling you was a good enough reason to leave you without information that was yours by right. And I do not, here it is, all of it, and I am giving it to you. Because you deserve to have it, and because I would rather face this together than carry it alone and call that protection. So here it is, all of it, and there is still more. There is the part of this story I have not told you yet. The part that happened after I left that room. The part that made everything I have just described feel even more significant than it already did. Because something else happened. Something I did not expect. Something that changed the way I understand not just that moment, but everything before it, and everything that is going to come after. And I need you to stay with me for it, the way you always stay with me, the way that has become one of the things I count on most in this world. Because what came next is the part that is really about you, about what you are to me, about what I understand.